Happy Portal Day. Fun stuff, not fun stuff. More guys entering the portal. We're waiting for guys now to pick where they're going.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Darrell, Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us as it is the first day that the portal's open. And admittedly so, been a little anticlimactic because, I don't want to speak for you, Darrell, but I think we did misjudge the urgency that some of this would happen. And it's still early. We could get a slew of guys that either announced tonight or over the weekend, whatever. But I did expect there to be more announcements like pretty quickly. And I don't fully understand why there's not. I don't know if they just want to make it look like, get the guys on campus first so it looks better or whatever. But it's not just Auburn. It's across college football where, you're not seeing guys commit to the places yet. So interesting. Not what I expected. Does make sense, but not what I expected.
No, we said we thought it was going to come fast and furious. We said that it was going to happen right away. But then I also, if we go back and listen to yesterday's or today's show that dropped, I said that you could start hearing as late as Saturday or Sunday because for some reason these kids like these weekend announcements. So, urgency is still there if it happens this weekend. I just really miscalculated that I would have thought to this point at 3 p.m. On Friday, the portal's been open for a while, that Auburn would have had a couple of names that already would have come this way.
Yeah, I thought it would be more orchestrated than that, but it hasn't been. And it hasn't been that way for anybody. So I've seen some Auburn people kind of be upset with Durkin, but it's like, well, no, this is so far Auburn's speed has been the same speed for everyone else. Auburn has had some names enter, none that I think really matter, but some that I do think are interesting. And some of those, let's just kind of go by position here. Preston Howard, I guess he announced last night, but I was a little surprised by that, just because assuming it's Preston's decision. If he was asked the portal, I think that this situation makes a little bit more sense. I just can't imagine Preston finding another situation that's better than what he had based off of last year's tape, but whatever. And I know Auburn fans are going to give him crap, and we've kind of talked about him on the show too, but he needs a fresh start. Clearly, I think it's more mental than physical. I would have argued that playing for Golesh in this system would have been a better fresh start than him going down a level. But he knows his situation better than we do.
Well, fresh start is exactly what popped into my mind, is that sometimes just mentally you need to start over. And with what happened last year with all the drops and all the fan blowback on that, maybe he just felt like he wanted to start somewhere over or somewhere else. We had heard that the staff actually liked him, which we were a little bit surprised by. Or maybe it's a situation of him portaling and it being a group of five scenario where he can be the guy. Who knows? But I think it's more or less let me get a fresh start, clean slate, so to speak, with what happened last year.
Offensive line, we had a few more names enter the portal. Favor Edwin, Seth Wilfred, two guys that could have been depth pieces on next year's squad, but sounds like they're planning to enter the portal. You're gonna have to reload that room anyway. Also wonder what, from a roster building standpoint, Hugh Freeze's number was 16 offensive linemen. That's just what he believed in. We don't know. We don't know what that number is for Alex Golesh. So it might be less. I don't know. We'll see.
That 16 number excited us as fans because I think that was one thing that was lacking in years past was offensive line recruiting. But if 3 or 4 just rot away on the bench and never even see a snap, do you need 16? Right. Because offensive line is not a position where you're going to play somebody on special teams. So maybe he feels like 12 or 13, rotate guys, make sure that they understand they're going to get playing time, i.e. make them less likely to portal.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how he handles that. Defensive line, we saw James Ash enter the portal. So now, as far as guys who have portaled out from the defensive line, James Ash, Malik Blockton, and Antonio Coleman. But also with the defensive line, we saw confirmation that Malik Autry and Jordan Crawford are staying. So that is absolutely a huge, huge win. I didn't know James Ash had another year of eligibility, if I'm being 100% honest with you. If I had known that, I would have talked about how he has a chance to play. But yeah, we didn't do that because, we didn't know. And now he's leaving anyway. So
I was high on him. I thought he was going to contribute this year. And he was a very, very athletic, kind of a twitchy guy. Could sack from interior. Did a lot of different things at I guess it was Florida A&M is where he was before on tape. But so that's interesting that, I guess it's an example too of, hey, I didn't play at all. I want an opportunity to go play somewhere.
In a position where if he was worthy of playing time, he would have gotten it. So I don't know. No movement since we last spoke about edge, Amaris Williams and Jamonta Waller portaling out. Actually had my Arkansas host reach out to me asking questions about Jamonta Waller. So I don't know if Arkansas is pushing or if he's going there for a visit or whatever that might be the case, but a little surprised if he can stay in the SEC, good for him. That'd be great. But Jared Smith continues to be one of the more important players on this roster that hasn't had a public statement. I think Jared Smith is crucial in this. I'm looking through the roster to make sure I'm comfortable saying this. Yeah, I'm okay saying of the guys who have not publicly announced they're coming back, I think there's an argument for Jared Smith being the most important one.
At this point, absolutely, because it's a position of need, it's a position of want, and it's a position of extremely low volume right now.
Yeah, if you want to argue like Winters or Fagans or Sylvester Smith or Pleasant, I wouldn't push back. But there's an argument for Jared Smith because of, the position and how expensive that position is going to be in the portal.
And Auburn was pretty loaded there last year. I mean, when we look back on it now, that was a really deep, talented position that got a lot of production.
No question. No question.
The other thing I was going to say, when you started mentioning names in the defensive backfield, I find it interesting that we've heard nothing on Champ Anthony, one way or the other.
I mean, you kind of say the same with a lot of those guys. Champ, Rayshawn Pleasant, Caleb Harris posted pictures of him in an Auburn uniform a few days ago. Was that telling? Everybody else has gotten graphics. I feel like, he's a 2-year starter. I feel like he would get a graphic if that's what that was, Then I think Sylvester Smith, and then the guys we just mentioned, Winters, Fagans, Woodby. The defensive back room, if you're running it back with those guys as your core, that's awesome. But nothing official on any of those guys yet, which is interesting.
Remind me again when the portal closes, when you can't jump in anymore.
It's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. That's good news, bad news. That's good news if you're an Auburn follower that guys can jump in the portal that could potentially come to your school. It's bad news that you hold your breath on guys like Jared Smith, Sylvester Smith, stuff like that.
It's through the 16th, Darrell. Yeah, so it's right at 2 weeks. Yep. Linebacker. Auburn's going to be in a spot to have one of the better linebacker rooms in the SEC if Atkins and Riddick and Melendez and Diaz do what we think that they can do. And I think some of these young guys can play right away. I think we see Wilkes and Tootle and Adam Balagoon Ali. I think all those guys play. So that's kind of where we're at from a roster standpoint. There's been a few names that have come out that I think are intriguing. Let's take a stab at some of those and how they fit in. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel's the best place to bet on all of your sports, Darrell. And look, Fridays are always special. That's today. Every Friday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, you can check out the NBA Happy Hour happening over on the FanDuel app. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's the NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport Columbus. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or a used vehicle. They've got plenty of great used vehicles as well over at Kia Autosport Columbus. But if you're in the Auburn, Opelika area, if you're in Atlanta, anywhere in the Southeast, it's worth the drive over to check them out right off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. That is Kia Autosport Columbus, or visit their website, KiaAutosportColumbus.com, to browse their inventory online. They've got great customer service. When you talk to them, mention the show Locked On Auburn. That'll save you some money. And of course, one of your favorite things, Darrell, about Kia Autosport Columbus is the tires for life. So with any new Kia purchase, that's just a cheat code in life. It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Unbelievable. Yep. So once again, KiaAutosportColumbus.com, or check them out in person. Tell them we sent you. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Floppy Toppy says, as long as Dap doesn't hit the portal, we're good. I believe in Dap and love it. Let's go.
I am not hitting the portal, but I didn't feel led to make a graphic and announcement that I was staying either. I just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I should have done that, but I think your Stranger Things transfer portal graphic, me resharing that, was all the confirmation anyone needed.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. I thought it was fun. All right, so the first guy I want to talk about, War Eagle G27 brought him up, so I'll give you some love there. Grant Segrin, the Oklahoma State offensive lineman, he's scheduled for a visit. I believe he's actually already here. He's already here, is what Cole Pinkston of On3. I saw him report that earlier today. Auburn's one of 4 schools that he's expected to visit. Ideally, Auburn doesn't let him leave without him committing. I think that's plan A, and it seems like they like this guy and they've made him a priority. He's a startable player on this offensive line next season if he were to pick here. And of the 4 schools, it's Auburn, Oklahoma State, where he's choosing to leave, Arkansas, and Northwestern. I think Auburn's the best landing spot of those 4, but we've talked about this before, Darrell. There's a million reasons why kids enter the portal. Everybody prioritizes different things. So, we don't know exactly what's up with Grant Segrin, but I do think he's a priority for Auburn. And I think Auburn can go to him and kind of offer a lot. It's like, hey, look at the guys that are coming back. Like, we got Cale Ellis. There's a few guys that could battle for spots, but you would be one of the 5 if you choose to come here.
That's why I think it's so important that names start dropping, that people start committing. For instance, if Brown admits, or not commits, it commits that he's coming to Auburn, then a guy like Segrin will go, man, I'd love to play with him. I'd like to block for him. Or if Segrin announces you're Brown and you're like, wow, offensive tackle block. So I think that it'll start that 1 or 2 names, and then you'll start to see, I think, the dominoes start to fall. But I think it's important to get a guy like this. I like the fact that Auburn has the first visit, and he is one that you definitely want to make sure does not leave campus without some sort of deal in place.
Yeah, somebody just posted that Hayes Fawcett posted a graphic of a defensive lineman visiting.
Yeah, there's one from Tulane, I believe.
Oh, the Tulane guy. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Auburn was tied to another guy from Arkansas, Ian Jeffrard, I believe is how it looks.
Arkansas State. There was an Arkansas.
No, he plays at Arkansas.
Okay, there was an Arkansas. There was an Arkansas State defensive lineman too that Auburn was tied to.
Nope. So the guy that Hayes Fawcett just tweeted out that Devin Tompkins, he's a defensive lineman from USC. Okay. He's the number 2 ranked defensive lineman in the On3 portal rankings. The guy from Arkansas that I just mentioned, Ian Jeffrard, is number 3. So Auburn clearly making defensive line a priority based off of these visits. But I mean, look at this list. This is where this is his visit plans according to the Hayes Fawcett graphic for Devin Tompkins. Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Auburn, Ohio State. Goodness gracious.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
Those are good. For a while, those are going to be tough battles to win. I mean, if you're up against 4 or 5 teams that have the kind of money that Auburn has and have also played in the playoffs,
right?
Less Clemson, then I'm surprised he's going to Clemson. I'm surprised Dabo is going that route. He's a transfer portal guy.
Right.
But yes, Sigler, Arkansas State, that's the guy I was thinking of. So thank you for War Eagle G27 for clarifying that.
Yeah. Talk to neighbors, host of Locked On Razorbacks. They weren't high on Jeff Frard at Arkansas. They were kind of bummed that he didn't play more. And so his perspective is he's a solid big body, but might be a little overrated. So take that for what it's worth. Haven't watched tape, just the Arkansas guy who covers Arkansas better than anybody, his opinion. So take that for what it's worth. As far as the USF crowd, this can change literally in a second, but a lot of their guys not officially in the portal last I saw. I don't think that's any reason to be concerned or anything like that, but I don't think Byron Brown is officially in the portal yet as of like an hour ago when I saw that report.
So that's what makes this interesting is if there are reports that he's on campus, how do you do that if you're not officially in the portal?
Right.
So that would tell me that if he's not in the portal, that he's not on campus. Because you got to be very careful with that. I mean, you can reach out and, you reach out through agents. That's the thing about agents. You don't have to talk to the kid directly. Mm-hmm. But to have him on campus for a visit, I would think that he would have to be in the portal already.
Yeah, I don't think he's officially in there. Do I think he is? Yes. And he's getting, a lot of people have really grabbed onto the fact that Auburn's got 100% of the crystal balls for Byron Brown. And I think it's just one person that got it, but still that's how math works. If there's only one crystal ball and one of them has him going to Auburn, that's going to be 100%. So, which I still think he's going to Auburn. I think it would be bad if he did not go to Auburn, but I do think they're all going to come in a batch. Like, I think you're going to get Byron Brown quickly. I think you're going to get Keyshawn Singleton, the wide receiver from USF. And then I think you're going to get Gaskin, the safety from USF. They've also got a defensive back. We talked about Lee. He's been linked to Auburn. USF had a tight end enter the portal this morning. Some people think that maybe that's why they told Preston Howard to not come back. Like, there's some reading between the lines there if that were to have happened.
There's an edge rusher too from USF that was supposed to enter the portal.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want all of them or not, but I think there's arguments for and against taking all those guys.
Well, let's just be honest. I mean, you really can't be that picky when you're trying to replenish a roster that lost 30 dudes. So, even if it's a depth standpoint, just to get the numbers back up and to have 2 and 3 deeps, they may be guys you have to circle back around to. I know there's 3 or 4 that Auburn wants right away that thinks they could be core guys. You may start talking about the edge guy and the slot, the nickel corner as depth, but I think Brown, Gaskin, and Singleton are definitely guys that they would think would come right in and start.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously the guys who have left Auburn have generated a lot of talk and attention. Malcolm Simmons visiting several places, Cam Coleman being pursued hard by Texas. It seems Deuce Knight and the chatter to Boston College is interesting.
Yeah, people in here are saying Ole Miss, because Austin Simmons is in the portal. Austin Simmons is always going to be in the portal and go to LSU, and especially if you watch Trinidad last night, which was a legendary performance. I think that Deuce Knight is more apt to go to Boston College than he is Ole Miss. There's a history with Ole Miss and Deuce Knight that's not so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so take that for what it's worth. Take that for what it's worth. There's an edge rusher from Colorado that Auburn seems interested in, and his name is Alexander McPherson.
I know, that's pretty interesting,
which
right?
is kind of wild. I was talking with my Colorado host. His name's Kevin Borba. High motor guy. He's like, he can get you 5 to 7 sacks a year. I'm like, that'd be great.
Wait a minute. Hold on. If he's Alexander McPherson and we have an Alex McPherson and you were talking to the Colorado Locked On guy, isn't his name Zakiah Blackerby?
Nice.
Kind of similar to you, isn't you see the symmetry
I see
there?
What you're trying to do there.
Yeah. I had a real hard time coming up with another name besides Zachary that starts with ZAK, but I nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Get Zacchaeus a lot. All right, let's go back to this because Mark Humphrey's comment here, he's the 30th person to post this. 247 is showing Brown to Auburn. That is a crystal ball. And how crystal balls work is they just take all of the picks and the confidence associated with them, and it's a percentage. So that is saying 100% of the picks are him going to Auburn. It is not saying 100% that he is 100% going to Auburn. Now, I think he is, and I think 247 would say that as well, but that's not like what people are grabbing there. That's not like people are twisting it slightly.
Well, also to put in perspective, most of the time, if it's 100% of the people crystal ball to Auburn, I would say 99% of the time that person goes to that school. Where you start to get into variations of that is you've even seen people say 70% or 75% crystal ball. And that's even kind of a high number as far as who ends up going there. So look, unless there's a late change of heart, somebody drops a bag late, something happens that we would have that you get blindsided. This was something that I think was probably a done deal from the moment that Golesh took the Auburn job. In fact, we have it on good authority that one of the first people, one of the first things you heard after that within that day is that there was already speculation that Brown on his own was going to enter the portal within 24 hours, was planning on entering the portal after 24 hours of Golesh being announced to Auburn. So that you connect the dots on that, and it's pretty simple.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So Billy, I'm not going to put the comment up because of abbreviations there, but got more players entering, but nobody has come in yet. What is going on? You can panic when that's happening other places. But Billy, my question to you is, what's a school where guys are committing there today? Like, you think only Auburn should be the only school that have guys committed to? Because that hasn't happened anywhere yet. And I've seen a few people ask, like, okay, if Tuesday rolls around and Byron Brown's not committed, can we panic? And first off, you can panic whenever you want. I have no control over that. But I think a big thing is going to be if Tuesday rolls around, let's take a step back and look at Auburn's situation compared to other people's situation. And you do that now. You could do that tomorrow. You could do that Sunday. You could do that Monday. You could do that Tuesday. Look at Auburn's situation. Okay. Right now it's guys have entered. No one's come in. Take a step out. Oh, guys have entered everywhere and nobody's committed anywhere. Will we see some announcements tomorrow? If I had to guess, yes, but I was wrong about guessing today. So I don't know. Tuesday, I surely would think that'd be the case. Whatever. But if you want to pick, like, that's fine. Look at Auburn's situation at whatever point in time you want to pick, then zoom out and compare Auburn's situation to everything else that's going on. Do you think that's fair?
It is. And it's just like during the recruiting process, when you jump in the portal and you make visits, why do you not want to take your visits? You get wined and dined and you get treated like royalty. And why would you? I mean, it's rare that a kid just commits sight unseen, right? You want to go, you want to take a couple of visits, you want to get courted. And even if you know where you're going to go all along, it's fun. And if look, some of these kids never got this opportunity coming out of high school because they were 2 stars, right? Then they go to these schools, they ball out. Now,
I think I just won the Heisman, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. So now you go, oh, wow. I get to go visit here. I get to go visit here. I didn't get to do that when I was coming out of high school. They put me in a van and drove me to Podunk U State, and then that's where I committed. Although Cal for Mendoza is not Podunk U, but he had 2 offers.
Right.
And remember, guys, walking out of Jordan-Hare Stadium in 2024, I was like, wow, that quarterback's pretty good.
He cooked us for sure.
Every time Auburn went to hit him, he got rid of the ball right before they hit him, and it ended up being Mendoza. There's some 2 stars out there that never got this opportunity. They're gonna absolutely take advantage of it. Go to a couple places, get treated like a king, and then make the decision. Now, if you're
we knew that. It's the guys that seem obvious, right? Like even Sam Levitt with Arizona State. He entered the portal this morning officially with a no contact tag. Some people are saying LSU. Some people are saying Kentucky has a shot, which is fascinating. Regardless,
well, their quarterback entered the portal. Kentucky's freshman quarterback entered the portal.
Yeah,
that was a little bit interesting, but yeah.
But even him who has a no contact tag, which implies you know where you're going. Like, well, for whatever reason, he's not like instantly announcing where he's going. So this is a process. Once again, I admit I was wrong on this. I thought there would be more urgency to it. Now, granted, it's only been 12 hours since it's been open, maybe less than that.
Especially because it's one portal window. I thought there'd be more urgency instead of it being
it's
spread
one
over
portal
two.
window. I also thought some of the kids are being thrown these ridiculous contracts to get into the portal that I thought either their representation or their family would like force the school that's throwing out these numbers, be like, okay, get them ready on Friday then. Like, we are going to sign that contract on Friday if you stand by it, and kind of almost force the schools to like get stuff done quicker. Because there's no way some of these deals are going to stand. There's just no way. Like, some of the things that are being offered via rev share, it's like, there's no way you're offering that much percentage of your rev share on one player. There's just no way. There's just no way. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. And maybe over time we can get more detailed with what those stories are. But the overall gist of it, I did think it would happen quicker, and it still can, right? Like, if guys admit or commit this weekend, like, that's still pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. Like, let's go back to last year. And granted, I admit I was wrong. I thought it would be different than last year. We expected as soon as it opened that everything would go crazy last year, and it didn't. It took about a week to a week and a half to where, like, we're doing shows, having to calm people down. Like, well, Auburn's only got one portal commit or whatever. It's like, yeah, but everybody does.
Let's do a little exercise here for people that are concerned about Brown not announcing or someone else. When Diego Pavia entered the transfer portal last year with a do not contact tag, don't you feel like we all pretty much knew where he was going?
Sure.
Go back and look how long it took him to actually get to Vanderbilt. It wasn't one day. I can assure you that. So, and then the other side is, if you are going to be, and I'm not telling anybody how to feel, by God, after being wrong about stuff last year and the way this portal has gone, I am not in any way, shape, or form saying this is what needs to happen. This is how you need to feel. I'm done with that crap, okay, because of what Auburn has done over the last 3 or 4 years. But I will say this. If you're upset or you're panicking or concerned about lack of motion within the next 24 or 48 hours, then you would need to show the same optimism if Cam Coleman leaves Texas or Texas A&M without a deal and goes on more visits or comes back and hasn't signed anything yet. It goes both ways. And I'm not saying that it's realistic that he is going to come back. I'm just saying if he leaves Austin or he leaves College Station and he's like, I got to think about it, then you should say, oh, there's still a chance. It's the same way. It goes both directions as far as panic and enthusiasm.
All right, War Eagle asked, Zach Blackerby, where do you think the final transfer rankings are going to be when it's all said and done? It's a great question. Auburn is in a prime spot to be high on that list because of volume. Those rankings value volume a ton, which is going to be big. I mean, there's a lot of schools that need a lot of guys, and Auburn is certainly one of them. SMA Movies says, do y'all think we will land Iverson Hooks? This is the UAB guy, right?
It is. He's got a really impressive visit list and offer list.
It's like 7 schools that I saw earlier that he was talking to.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on who Auburn gets. If they get 2 of the USF kids and then a couple other receivers they're rumored to be in on, who knows? I mean, I think Hooks is definitely better than the last Hooks Auburn got, and I would love to see him in orange and blue. They'd take him, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think they would take him. I mean, assuming he's the style receiver that Golesh wants, which I think he is. But we're going to have to learn what the staff wants too. Like, this is going to look a little bit different. Defensively, I think we're going to stay the same. Offensively, I think what they look for is going to be very different, especially at receiver. Saw somebody earlier ask about Blake Woodby. Any news on Blake Woodby? And surprisingly, I think you put him and Eric Winters and New Boy Fagans all in the same kind of grouping. You know, all guys that are about to be true sophomores. And I think guys that are important in the core of this defense, both for this year and for 2027.
I mean, again, and Anthony and Pleasant and Sylvester Smith. If you get those, then you build upon that, maybe bring in a starter or two at the corner to replace Lee or Crawford. And I think you're cooking with gas again. I think your secondary looks solid. I really do.
Yep. All right.
So I want to, can I address one? Go ahead. You go and do that one. And then I want to
let's do this one. And then, tell me which one you want. Alney asks, do you think Auburn will land any top receivers in the portal? I think it's a tricky question because I think they'll have the ability to. I'm not sure that makes sense in this system. I think you're going to see guys that he goes for be a certain style and have certain skill sets. I don't know if you're viewing this like an NFL system where you have a salary cap. I don't think Golesh's system is one where you devote a high percentage to wide receiver. So I'm genuinely curious to see. That's a great question. We don't have the answer to that yet. What's the Bama guy that entered the portal?
I can't pronounce his name.
Is like Mbakwe?
Yes, you just nailed it. Mbakwe.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Like a guy like that, who he was like the number 2 player in the class like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Like he's really good and his ceiling is still pretty high. I don't think he's hit it yet. I don't know where he's going to fall in on like on 3 rankings or anything like that, but like, does that make sense? And I also think a lot of the top receivers aren't going to want to do a performance-based NIL thing because they don't have to. They're going to be throwing money regardless. Like I do think that's part of it too.
I agree. That's why it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I would say yes, but I would say that
define top 10.
Top 10. Yep, I agree.
I bet we do not have a top 10 receiver in this portal class.
Is
going off of strictly ranking.
Is
Darrell.
Singleton not ranked top 10?
Keyshawn Singleton?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
And is Mbakwe not top 10?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if they're there.
Well, Singleton's not in the portal yet, so how could you rank him?
But he's announced, so they're putting him in there.
Okay.
They're putting him in there. All right, I just found the right thing. All right. So Cam Coleman, Ian Strong, JC Brown, Nick Marsh, Amarian Miller. Dang, they got Malcolm Simmons as like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have Malcolm Simmons as the 8th receiver in the portal.
And see, I take
Keyshawn Singleton is the 13th ranked receiver in the portal, according to this. Iverson Hooks is 15th, if I'm counting correctly. So, yeah, I don't think they've added Mbakwe yet.
Yeah. If you got 13 and 15, or if you got 13 and Mbakwe, then you could say
I would rather have that.
Yeah.
Than a 6th.
I would take Singleton right now over Malcolm Simmons, even if Simmons wouldn't have portaled. I mean, that's just me.
I think a lot of this offense is having guys be on the same page, especially quarterback and receiver, seeing the same thing defensively, and you run a route based off of that. And he had, 700 or 800 yards last year?
Mm-hmm.
Byron Brown knows them. They can finish each other's sentences. Like, that's... I don't care what his ranking is. That's appealing to me.
Yeah. So real quick, one of the questions somebody asked, it was at SMA Movies, I believe, that said, who do we consider to be a viable backup if Brown comes? So I don't mind throwing out some names. The Odom kid from Kennesaw State has been linked to Auburn. The Atkinson kid from Mercer, who had a really good first half against Auburn.
I love him.
If
we could convince him to be a backup for a year and then compete for a spot next year. That whole game, I'm like, this guy is a baller.
Oh, he looked a lot like Mendoza did against Auburn.
And
And then
he's going to pop up somewhere, Darrell.
He will.
With us or with Everett, where it's like, oh, yeah, we remember him. He's balling for, some random school now. Yeah.
There's a Penn State quarterback, too, that started 7 or 8 games this year that just jumped in the portal that's been linked to Auburn. Not Peyton Falzone. He went back to Penn State, but it's a guy that started 6 or 7 games for Penn State.
Is it Ethan Grunkemeyer?
Yep, that's him.
Okay.
Yep. So those are 3 names I've heard to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get him. It doesn't make sense. But Aiden Childs from Michigan State, I just really like him as a player.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get him, but just
I have PTSD from receivers named Hooks and quarterbacks from Michigan State. So let's just move on to that.
That's fair. All right. We'll go for a few more minutes, guys. If anybody else has another question. But this has been good conversation, though, for sure. I do think it's telling, not surprising. I want to be clear, not surprising, but telling, almost confirming that they have visits planned and are talking to early the number 2 and number 3 defensive tackles in the portal.
Oh, look, I've heard, as you have, the Football Performance Center is buzzing right now with activity, with the amount of people that are there. So I think that they're hosting a lot of people that they had targeted for weeks now. And again, full court press. You hope that Sunday night, Saturday night, you start. I think Jackson Arnold popped on a Saturday last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He did. Yeah. I was at a recital watching my daughter, and I'm like, I'll go live in 2 hours, guys. Yeah.
So I think I was covering a basketball game. So yeah, that could happen. Again, let these guys get their flowers, let them have their visits, let them get their meals, let them fly on their planes and have a good time. Some of them never had that opportunity.
Yep. All right, guys, thank y'all for hanging out with us for a few minutes. Please like the video. Please subscribe. Darrell, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Be with you tomorrow night after the Georgia basketball game. We will go live, Auburn's first SEC game. And then Sunday night, the Barncast, which has the potential at 8 o'clock Sunday night to be lit.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? With some things that may happen over the weekend. So people tune into that as well.
Yep. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you're tuned in on audio. Please subscribe and leave us a review. Helps the show out a ton. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.